In the written instructions for this exercise, you'll find the code for this HTML file. Go ahead and create it inside your course folder with the name dice-game.html. This document shows the rules for the dice game, and it has the button to call a function named rowDice. And notice we're also linking an external JavaScript file here with a script element in the JS folder named dice.game.js. The rules for this dice game are as follows. When you click the button, the computer will roll dice for you up to 10 times, one at a time. If you roll a 1, the game stops. All further rolls are forfeited. If you roll a 2, 3, or 4, you don't win anything, but you do get to roll again. If you roll a 5, you win 5 gold coins, and you get to roll again. If you roll a 6, you win 6 gold coins, and you get to roll again as well. With these rules in mind, let's create the JavaScript file. In the JS folder, create a new file and name it dice.game.js. Remember that the function that we called from the HTML button was called rowDice, so let's define that function with a function declaration. Next, we're going to want to set up a counter variable to keep count of the gold coins that are won. Since the value will potentially change, we'll use the let keyword, and let's name this gold coins and initialize it to 0. Now I'll set up a loop that will simulate rolling dice no more than 10 times. A for loop will work for this. We're not using an array, so not a for of loop, just a standard for loop will work. We'll initialize an iterator variable I to 0, set the condition to I is less than 10, and set I to increment by 1 at the end of each iteration. Inside the loop, I'll simulate rolling dice by generating a random number between 1 and 6. As you saw last week, we can do that by using math.floor on a number generated from math.random times the max bound, in this case 6, plus 1 so that the range will be 1 through 6, not 0 through 5. And we put the result from that into a constant named roll. Then I'm going to alert the user as to what their roll was. Following that, I'm going to check a few if conditions. First, I want to check if the roll triple equals 1. If so, then we're done. We're not rolling any more dice. So I'm going to let the user know that with an alert. Then I'm going to use the break statement to break out of the for loop entirely. Next, I'm going to check if the roll is 2, 3, or 4. I can do that by checking if roll is less than 5. Since I already checked for the roll equals 1 condition. And if so, that means you don't win anything, but you get to roll again. So I'm going to use the continue statement here to skip the rest of this loop block and go on to the next iteration, the next dice roll. If we've gotten to this point in the loop block, that means that the roll must have been either 5 or 6, which means that you've won some coins. I'll set up an alert here with a congratulations message. The game rule is that if you roll a 5, you get 5 gold coins. If you roll a 6, you get 6 gold coins. So we can just use the roll variable for the number of coins that were won. And we'll add that to the gold coins variable to keep a running total. After the end of the for loop, we'll alert the player how many gold coins were won total. At this point, we're ready to test the game. I'll go back to the HTML file and open it with Live Server. Here's the page with the rules. I'll click the Roll Dice button, and here's the first alert. It says I rolled a 5. Okay. And it tells me I won 5 gold coins. So far, so good. Next roll. I roll another 5. So that's 5 more coins. Okay. Oh, it looks like my luck ran out. I rolled a 1. That means my game is over. And my final count of gold coins was 10. I didn't get to see all my conditions play out, so I'm going to play again. My first roll is a 4, so that should just continue to the next roll. And it did. My next roll is a 3. This should also continue to the next roll. And my next roll is a 5, so that's 5 gold coins for me. Another 3, another 5, and 5 more gold coins. And then a 1, so my game's over. I'll stop here, though I could keep testing and make sure that I get the right response to rolling a 6 or 2, since I haven't seen those yet. But hopefully you get the point. Make sure that your game is working in this way before you conclude this exercise. If you check in the written instructions, you'll find that there are additional challenges for you involving this exercise. When you're done with those, continue on to learn about more array methods,